thank you so much for your time being with us on our YouTube channel. So where are you from?
We are from Australia.
Australia?
Yes.
Which city?
Queensland.
Brisbane.
Brisbane.
Brisbane in
I see.
Queensland. Yeah.
And are you on vacation now?
Yes.
Traveling
Yep.
around Japan. How long do you stay in Japan?
We've been here now for a week and a half, and
Uh-huh.
we're leaving on Sunday.
Oh, I see,
Yes,
I see.
this Sunday coming up, so 2-week holiday.
And is this first time
Yes.
you came here?
Yeah, first time.
How did you like it? Or how do you like it?
We're loving it.
I love it
It's,
so
it's
much.
a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. But what motivated you to come to Japan, or what prompted you to come to Japan this time?
My brother came twice last year.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
he came at the start of last year and he loved it, and then he went at the end of last year.
Uh-huh.
So he went twice and he just really liked it. So
What
that's why.
What kind of things he told you?
Well, he did it both in winter.
Uh-huh.
So he did a lot of snowboarding and skiing up in Hakuba. And yeah, he loved it. But then he also came down to Osaka, Tokyo, Kyoto, and he also loved all those cities. So yeah.
Showed us all the photos of all the buildings and the food and everything, and we thought it looked pretty amazing. So we thought we had to come and see it for ourselves.
Oh, no, I see. But besides his influence, did you have like an interest about Japan? Like,
Yeah,
personally?
definitely. I was very interested in the cultural side of Japan, but also seeing all the cities and all the lights you don't get that in Australia, and it's pretty amazing. So, yeah.
But have you felt some differences between your country and the Japanese?
I find Japanese people are a bit more respectful
A lot more respectful.
than I guess Australian people. Even on the subway train systems here, everyone's sitting quietly, and that doesn't happen in Australia.
The eating, how you can only stand, you can't walk and eat and stuff.
Yeah.
They do that all over Australia, so I found that very interesting to do. Yeah, to stop and enjoy it.
I see. And have you felt any difficulties during?
I think so.
Well, the language barrier can be a
Yeah.
bit difficult at times, but there's a lot of good English translation around the place as well. Most of the signs, as well as Japanese, have got English and stuff. So
Yeah.
Then this time, which cities or which places you have visited?
So we've been to Tokyo, Kyoto, we're now in Osaka. We're also going to Hiroshima,
Oh,
and then we're going back up to Tokyo.
so far, what or where is the highlights?
I like Osaka. We went go-karting around.
Or go-karting?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Around the
see.
city
Uh-huh.
the other night.
We went to Universal yesterday. That was amazing.
And yeah, Osaka's really cool. I didn't expect it to be as good as beautiful as it is, to be honest.
I see.
But it's such a nice area.
Oh.
And our hotel is right across from Dotonbori, and that's so cool. With the city lights and
Yeah,
stuff, we love it.
it's amazing.
What did you think about Dotonbori? Is it kind of too many people?
It is
Is it
very
too
busy.
loud or
Very busy, very busy.
Yes.
But yeah, on the canal that they have there, all the lights and the running man is all lit up. Is so cool.
And they have the Christmas lights up now too.
Oh, this is already started.
They
Yeah,
have-
already
yeah.
put the Christmas lights up, which
I
is
see.
it's really cool.
Which section in a Universal did you go and enjoy?
Oh, what was your favorite part?
We were there for 12 hours yesterday.
12 hours?
Yeah, we were there. Nintendo World was really cool.
The
Nintendo World.
new
I-
place for
Yeah.
the new section.
I also loved the Minions, like my favorite movie.
And Harry Potter Land, Hogwarts, that was really cool as well.
The castle in
Yeah.
there. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it was very good.
Are you guys going to Disneyland?
No.
No, really.
No, we didn't want to spend 2 full days at an amusement park, so we just picked one to do, and then a lot of other sightseeing, like the castle and stuff around here.
Yeah.
But in Tokyo, which part of?
We mainly went to Shinjuku and Shibuya and Harajuku. We stayed in Itabashi.
Itabashi.
Yeah, Itabashi, which made it pretty easy to travel around.
But we didn't get to go to the satellite lights that you were mentioning.
No, we just all the main areas really. Yeah, they're really
I
popular
see.
areas. Is what we saw.
How about then, like Japanese food culture?
Yeah.
Do you like Japanese food?
Yes, I love it. I love Japanese food.
What do you like? What is the favorite one? Do you have?
I love all that Wagyu steaks.
Wagyu
They're so nice. Ramen. Yeah, I went to a nice ramen place in Nara. Yeah, I think I'm thinking about going to Ichiran tonight or.
It's very popular.
Yeah, very popular. Haven't tried it yet though, so I want to give that a go. But yeah, I love ramen mostly. I'd say.
My favourites are the katsu curries.
Katsu curry.
I think they're delicious.
Chicken katsu, pork cutlets.
We did that with the Wagyu. We went to one where you cook the Wagyu yourself.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you cook it on a stone yourself and dip it in all the sauces.
I see.
That was really good.
But if you have any the chance, would you like to come back to Japan?
I'd love to. I want to go up to the snowfields, Hakuba, and up to Sapporo.
Do you snowboarding too?
Yeah. I went You've never seen the snow, but I went snowboarding a couple of years back in Australia, in New South Wales, and I loved it.
Yeah, in the winter time, it's very popular for the Australian.
So popular, yeah.
Absolutely.
Then, what would you like to buy and bring back to Australia?
I love the skincare.
Skincare?
Yeah, skincare stuff. Yeah, just all the snacks that you guys have. We'll be bringing those back and some clothes.
All right. Well, thank you so much
No,
for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time being with us on our YouTube channel. So where are you from?
From Australia, more specifically down in Victoria, in the city of Melbourne.
Oh, Melbourne. Okay. So you're on vacation right now?
Correct, yeah, with my partner. We're here for 3 weeks in total. We're about 11 days into our 3 weeks of travel.
I see. So you just started or almost ending or middle? Or?
We did 4 days in Tokyo before heading to Matsumoto for 1 night, and then to Takayama for 2 nights, down to Hiroshima for 2 nights, and this is now our second night in Osaka, and then after Osaka we're heading down to Koyasan, and then up to Kyoto, then on to Hakone for 1 night, and then back to Tokyo for 3.
Wow! So
yeah,
you memorize or you know where you went and we're going to.
Self-proclaimed navigator. Yeah.
Wow, I see. So is this first time in Japan?
Yeah, first time. Yeah.
And how do you like it so far?
Absolutely love it. It's, a bit surprised by the weather. We probably timed more November thinking about the red leaves and the autumn. But we'd sort of heard before coming here that the summer's the summer is extending a bit out. So even to get a day like today, 22 degrees and sunny, was a bit of a surprise. But sort of came to see the red foliage and the leaves, which we've seen a bit of. But we've only had 1 day of rain, and that was in Matsumoto. But been really, really lucky with that as well. I think the reason for coming this time of year was to maybe try and avoid some of the peak season, but also catch some of the autumn leaves, which hopefully in Kyoto we'll see a little bit more of the red leaves. But so far been really, really impressed. First time both being in Japan, the things that have really stood out to us first and foremost is probably just how polite and respectful everyone is. We've found that our interactions with locals and service providers have been really, really helpful, and people seem to want to help. Not to say that people in Australia aren't friendly, but I think we've just found it's another level here. Everyone's really, really, really kind, and the streets are really clean as well. Not having access to bins at times meant putting rubbish in the backpack.
Really?
Yeah, but because usually around Australia we'll have lots and lots of bins, but that usually means that also people are just happy to throw stuff on the streets, and it gets a bit messy sometimes.
Right.
Whereas here we've really noticed that it's, I think, everyone. It's a really, really good system, but everyone tries to be respectful of that system as well. We haven't seen people deliberately jaywalking or throwing rubbish and things, so it seems like everyone comes here and wants to do right as well. So I think we've really appreciated that. I think there was a bit of a joke before coming here that I'm very much I think my brain, I work really well with rules and guidelines, so I think coming here to Japan I probably knew that with rules and structure, I was going to go really well. I really like following rules, and I felt like coming to Japan, it's a really nice system where people respect that.
I see.
So I really respected that in the sense I like knowing what my rules and my guides are, and then trying to abide by that, not disturbing people, trying to be pleasant, have nice interactions, being quiet on trains.
I see.
I really appreciate and value that, so I've found that really nice here.
So you think this kind of the system in the country, or do you think?
Me personally, I'd love it. How you bring that system into a group of people that haven't grown up with that system is very hard. We haven't grown up with such... it's not rigid. These aren't rigid systems. I think they're very respectful, but I don't think in Australia we've grown up with those. We've grown up with a lot of other respectful ways of interacting and engaging. We're very multicultural as well, and I think the new generation coming through, we're really growing with that. But at the same time, in terms of being respectful and polite to others, I think that more so comes from the home and how parents will raise their kids to embody those things.
I see.
Whereas
educational,
yeah,
probably.
as opposed to just a more of a wider just expectation or a wider this is how we do things, which I think Japan's got the system. But I think back home it's more the households that are going to do that, because you know, we'll find that there'll be some people who will just litter no matter what, or there's some people who just cause a ruckus on trains or try and I think I don't know how you can bring that system into an already established sort of system. How we got back home, I don't know if it's possible now, but
establishing rule is not always the better way to, I think.
Because of the system you've got here in Japan, sometimes because people being quiet on trains and being very respectful of others, do you find that sometimes that might squash creativity here in terms of people expressing themselves? Like back home, maybe more westernized, it's very about express yourself, say what you want to say, be who you want to be, whereas in Japan, because of maybe what is defined by the system, it looks like everyone's very respectful of one another, but individuals maybe don't pop out as much. People don't shine amongst a crowd, whereas I think in Western culture they try and say, shine amongst a crowd, be your own unique person, be who you want to be, whereas I feel like in Japan I've noticed that maybe there's a lot of similarities, and it's okay to just be amongst the crowd. I think that's one of the differences I've seen as well. Whereas everyone sort of has to have their own identity back home, whereas from just being travellers for 11 days, it's probably not a big sample size, but here it very much feels like everyone goes about their own day without disturbing others, and that's okay. I've wondered that at times whether, because of the way the culture is here, whether you get less individual big personalities that try and... But again, 11 days of travel, I'm probably not going to see very much. Well, on the more light-hearted side, we have noticed a lot of dogs in prams. Dogs? I mean, there's been a lot of more cultural things we've seen, but one of the things... Back home in Australia, and us specifically, we love animals. We love our dogs and animals, but here... We've noticed a lot of people dressing up their animals and their dogs and putting their dogs in prams and pushing their dogs around. It is a little bit strange because we don't see that much back home. So we're probably a little bit surprised to see how much
the way to interact with
people love their dogs or
I
want to treat them like children, I guess. Again, it's quite nice to see because it means that people want to look after their animals and dogs. But yeah, that's the light-hearted side of the things we've noticed culturally wise here. But as I said, just how typically respectful everyone is and the interactions we've had, that's sort of more culturally one of the bigger things we've noticed.
Interesting. Have you ever been to other Asian countries?
Been to Thailand. You've probably been to Singapore, and you've been to a few more.
Yeah, Vietnam and Singapore and Myanmar.
I see.
Yeah.
Japan's very first world. It's a first world Asian country where, yes, there's some similarities, but there's wealth here, which typically means safe to drink water, clean streets, education. I don't think we've seen any homeless so far in our 11 days. And even back home, we're noticing a little bit more homelessness occurring back home. So to come here and not see that, and that could just be the areas we're walking, but we haven't seen much homelessness. So whether that means that people are faring better and doing better in this system or not. But compared to, say, somewhere like Thailand, where it's it feels very much like people are really out there struggling to provide for their family, and there's holiday destinations, but if you're not in those holiday destinations, there's there's a lot more poverty and dirty water and things, whereas here, so far from what we've seen, it feels like there's a good share of access to water and safe as well. One thing I guess we've noticed as well is the women's only carriages on trains. I don't think we have anything like that at home as well. So one of the questions we asked was, we interpret that as a carriage for women to feel safer. Maybe safer from having to stand with men on the trains. We're not entirely sure 100% what those carriages are for the women's only carriages on trains, whether they're for women to feel safer or it's to give them their own space. But that's a nice touch. But I suppose, yeah, I mean, that's obviously the main comparison is the cleanliness of the city compared to, say, somewhere like Thailand as well. Even just walking around seeing street cleaners as well. Very rarely, if ever, do you see that back in Melbourne. Sometimes the rubbish will just be there, it'll blow away. I never really see anyone taking ownership to clean it up. You're really relying on the people to do it, whereas here, although there's not much rubbish, at least once a day I've seen a cleaner on the streets cleaning it up. I mean, just on that point, sorry?
Like crimes?
Yeah, even said this morning, I couldn't imagine people doing crime here because everyone seems quite orderly and happy, and happy to abide by the rules. So we hear sirens and things, but we never actually see anything going wrong. As far as the cities have gone so far, Dotonbori, the street river, I mean, that was crowded last night. We've probably never seen so many Western or European tourists on our trip so far. That was really, really crowded. We were staying near Ginza in Tokyo, just south of Tokyo Station, and that was a bit crowded, but that we haven't really had too many big crowds yet. So that's been quite nice. We found some similarities between areas of Osaka and Hiroshima, just in terms of the tall buildings and the wider streets. But we've also found sometimes, depending on what train station we've got off around the major cities, they have a very completely different feel. It's almost like different areas of the cities just have different vibes and or different feelings to them, and so we've found that really fascinating. And because we've both done a fair bit of travel around other areas of the world, sometimes we'll get off a station somewhere and I think, oh, this reminds me of America, or we'll get off and some of the buildings here are quite unique and reminds you of parts of Italy or France, and maybe that's on purpose, maybe it's not, but we found that quite interesting. So there's the distinctive Japanese looking buildings, but then there's almost the buildings that look like they've got a bit of Western influence, and you sort of wonder how has that Western influence sort of crept into the culture here, and was that post World War II, or the more Westerners have travelled to Japan, and how that sort of maybe contributed to that. So that's been a really interesting thought process that we've gone through while we've been here.
All right, but thank you so much for your time. It was
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Nice. Thank you so much for your time being with us on our YouTube channel. So where are you from?
We're from London.
In England.
England.
Yeah.
Oh, and you're traveling now?
Yeah, just for 3.5 weeks, just 3 days.
And how many days you have passed, you said?
How many days
just
we've been?
done 7, this is our 7th day?
Yeah, 7th day.
7th day.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 weeks more too.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And the first time in Japan?
Yeah, first time.
Oh, are you enjoying, or how do you like it?
Yeah, we're having a really good time. It's been very special.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we wanted to come here for a long time, so it's really great to be here.
Oh, so how did you start the going to Japan? Yeah.
Yeah, so we arrived and spent 2 days in Tokyo. To start with, we were staying in Nakameguro and just kind of acclimatizing because it's a 9-hour time difference. So
we
it was
were very
very
tired.
jet lagged, but it was a beautiful way to sort of see Tokyo as a city, which feels very different to London. And then we headed up to Nikko into the countryside just to see the leaves changing, which is very beautiful.
Oh, already
Staying
changing
there.
the leaf over there?
Yeah, very much so. Very different to here, actually. Like they're much further along. Very
Red
beautiful.
and orange, it was amazing.
And then we've headed down here to Osaka, and we're here for a few more days. And we've been to Kyoto, and now we're having a day in here, and then we're doing some little trips out from Osaka to see some places, and then we're off to Naoshima and then Hiroshima, and then Fukuoka, and then back to Tokyo.
Oh, yeah. Then you're going to the southern part.
We're going to see Sumo.
Oh, Sumo. I see. You're a big Sumo fan, or it's just
first time.
The first time?
Yeah, but I think it was just a bucket list thing. And it's a nice, almost like an excuse to visit a different part of Japan, because I think otherwise we wouldn't have gone to Fukuoka. So it's nice to have like a goal to take you to somewhere different.
Also, they have pretty good cuisines.
We've heard. Super good
you
food
have. Do you have like a target cuisine or
I don't know.
Not
really.
really.
Is it chanko nabe? The
Chanko nabe.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
We've eaten lots of different foods already.
Already?
It's been amazing. Yeah.
Eating our way around Japan.
Yeah, very full.
Do you remember what you ate?
Gosh, yeah, loads.
Last night we had okonomiyaki.
Yeah, we had really good okonomiyaki last night. We've had like a big traditional Japanese dinner at one of the ryokans we stayed at. We've eaten kind of quick sushi. We've eaten like quite a lot of ramen and soba and tempura. We had yakitori dinner in like a
lots of. Did you find some like a favorite one?
Really
or it's very hard to.
They're very different because the experience is part of it as well. Obviously, all of the food tastes different in its own good way, but it's all about the experience and where you are and who you meet. If you sit next to someone and you start talking to them, everyone's been very friendly.
That's good.
There was quite a lot that we ate at the ryokan, which was slightly more traditional foods and like local foods to Nikko, which we hadn't tried so much. There were the
it's like a small plates.
Little small plates, and they would
right.
A lot of it was like we'd never had those little rice dumplings before that you cook on the coals. They can be sweet or savoury, and you brush them in soy sauce.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that we ate, but we didn't really know what it was.
Actually, I think
but
so.
It was great.
Some like koji and stuff like that as well.
What did you see in Nikko over there? Yeah.
Mainly the landscape, I think.
Landscape.
Mostly about just the beautiful mountains.
We did climb one of the
mountains. We climbed a mountain up into Nikko and maybe 1,200 meters.
Oh, really?
Up, see everything, see the sunset. Come back down in slightly too dark.
It was very dark when we came down. We were like, we're going to get lost.
Yeah.
But...
And we wanted to get a good contrast between like the Japanese cities and the Japanese landscape as well, because I think Japan is a very beautiful country.
And you're going to Naoshima, you said?
Yeah, we're heading to Naoshima for actually 2 days.
That is art.
The little art island. I'm an artist for my
you are.
I like engaging that, and Hannah's very creative as well.
Are you like a painter or a sculptor?
No, I'm a filmmaker.
Filmmaking. The photography.
Yeah, photography and moving in.
So now you went to Nikko. So which area or which part did you go and see?
So Nikko, we actually stayed up near Kinagawa Onsen.
So
like up in, I guess like northish area of Nikko in a little ryokan called Honke Bankyu, which was
amazing,
insane, very super beautiful. Like,
and you liked onsen, you said?
Yeah. We had a private onsen, and then the next day we went to the public onsen areas, and they were it was amazing. It was very hot. I didn't think it would be as hot as it was.
They were like over 40 degrees. I think, like super warm. You get there, I need to get out a bit.
Like
but really relaxing.
So
actually,
relaxing.
Like very cool, and it's nice to see how. Like everyone engages with it together, and it's like super respectful of that place as well. Like I think in the UK we don't have anything like that where people can go and like it's sort of physically good for you, but it's also like I don't know. It just feels like you come together to have a nice time in a space quietly, and that's really healthy. But it feels really good. So, we enjoyed that a lot.
So you didn't feel like awkward or anything to going to. The public,
a bit confused to start. Like, what do I do? Like, but I think as soon as you start, it's because
you don't want to do it wrong. You don't want to be disrespectful. So you have to go in and kind of like figure it out. And because we have to go in, it's separate, right? So you're on your own, trying to figure out the signs. But as soon as you kind of get in there, I think also reading and preparing, you kind of know what to expect. So and everyone was very kind.
I see. And after that, you have a conversation what happened
Is it
to
like
each
this
other.
for you? Was it like this for you? And you're like, yeah, that's the same. Okay.
I see.
Like the respect people have for their surroundings and their landscapes. I love being outside, and I love like seeing beautiful places. And I think in Japan, everyone like really appreciates the country, and in the UK, things get a bit. It's like people first, country second. And I think here, everyone lives a bit more harmonious. I mean, maybe not everyone, but you know, in the places we've been, it's been very harmonious, and people have been like super respectful of places and how they, kind of how everyone else is supposed to interact with them as well as themselves. And it would be so nice to have a bit more of that in the UK. And that goes for like places in the mountains or the onsens, or even like how clean the streets are. So it's super nice.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Also, the toilets are great.
Yeah, toilets are fine.
They're great.
The warm,
warm seats. I can get behind that. Yeah, I can get behind that, especially in the freezing winter.
Yeah.
We live in a very cold house, so. I mean, personally for me, like I've grown up. I grew up watching a lot of like Japanese media when I was very young. Like my dad, we used to rent. The Studio Ghibli films when I was a little child from the library on DVD, and so maybe when I was super young, I had seen these things on the television, and I was like, wow, what is this magical place? And then I started watching a lot more like Japanese cinema. Like I'm a big Kori Ida fan, and you know we watched a lot of like Beat Takeshi's movies, and it's just always been like a place that has output a lot of media that has been very important to me.
I see.
I've always wanted to see where this stuff comes from, and then we also like eat loads of Japanese food in London, and that's always super delicious. And I don't know, it's so from a very early age I've always been quite fascinated with coming to Japan, and just sort of seeing where all this stuff comes from and what the culture's actually like. And then we had a kind of window where it made sense. Like Hannah left her job, and we had like a 3-month period before something else started, so it was like, oh, we can actually take a month out and come here, because it's so far for us, and it's so hard to take time out normally to come and do something like this, because I think you need a big period of time to like soak it up properly.
You don't just want to be running from thing to thing. Well, I think like since we've been together, Jay really introduced me to a lot of different films and stuff. So I guess since we've been together, it's always I've learned more and more about the Japanese culture and the media and the stories. I think that people tell, and
I see.
We had our first date in an okonomiyaki restaurant. So.
We did. I drank so much sake.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I actually haven't drank sake since then until we got
here.
Japan.
So
yeah.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you so much for your time. It was so helpful, and thank you very much again.
No, it's our pleasure.